Good afternoon. We begin with breaking news out of Scarborough, where a woman in her 70s was struck and killed by a vehicle. Now, this is a live look at the scene from our CTV News chopper. It happened on a residential street just before 8:30 this morning near Morningside in Lawrence. Police gave an update at the scene last hour. Let's go live to CTV's Allison Hurst with the very latest on the investigation. Allison.
Nathan, as you can see here on the ground as well, police are still blocking that intersection as they investigate the crash. Now, we have gotten some surveillance footage, which we are going to show you, but I just want to let everyone know we have stopped it at the moment of impact. So here at first, you see some vehicles stopped at the intersection waiting to cross, and then you see the woman come into frame and start walking across the intersection, and then that's when she's struck by an SUV. Police say the driver is cooperating and remained on scene. Police say it was a woman in her 70s who was struck and at the time was taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries, but she died in hospital. It happened at about 8:20 this morning during a time when people would be heading to work or taking their kids to school, and a neighbor tells us this is an area that used to have a working speed camera.
Definitely not something you expect, especially because we used to have this speed cameras actually right before the school that's here, and you know, it would pick up constantly. But in terms of speeding, I don't think there was really much that was going on here. Maybe in like the middle of the night, in the daytime, people are going to work. But yeah, very unfortunate to see.
The pedestrian, a woman in her 70s, was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Sadly, despite life-saving measures, she succumbed to her injuries and was pronounced deceased at the hospital. At this time, the investigation is ongoing.
And we can see now police are still canvassing the area, looking for any surveillance footage, as well as traffic investigators also trying to determine what exactly caused the crash. They say they're considering all factors. Reporting live, I'm Allison Hurst. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Allison. And staying in Scarborough, one person was injured after a single vehicle crash overnight. This happened around midnight on Highway 2A near Lawson Road. A man was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries after a car ended up in the ditch on its roof. The cause is under investigation.
One person has been seriously injured in a house fire in Ajax. Firefighters were called to the home on Angier Crescent near Harwood and Bailey around 6:15 this morning. Police say one male was rushed to hospital with serious injuries. There's no word on any other injuries from this house fire or the cause. Turning to Brampton now, where the cleanup is on after a large water main break shut down a major intersection.
The repair is expected to take most of the day as some residents in this area remain without water. CTV's John Musselman joins us live now from Queen and Central Park Drive with the latest. I'm sure the cold doesn't help, John.
It's pretty cold out here, Michelle, and that may have played a factor in the water main break as well. We did get an update from Peel Region. They are making some pretty good progress here. We're told that only one more building needs to be repaired to get their water back on. We'll show you some video. This happened last night. According to officials with the region of Peel, the water main break, the other problem was there was snow clogging the catch basin, so when that water main broke, all the water had nowhere to drain. They were able to clear out those catch basins, put a lot of salt down, but did quite a messy area of the roadway here. Now, this was scheduled for a repair last night, but according to Peel Region, before they could get the repair done, there was a major break in the water main. And as a result, there were two large 18-story high-rises without water. We did have a chance to speak to one resident this morning who, here's what they had to tell us. What's it been like without the water?
Without the water, we can't do anything. It's like everything is having a problem over there. So
Whole building?
All the building is having a problem.
So again, the update is they are making progress. They hope to have water back on in the remaining building within the next couple of hours. Reporting live in Brampton, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, John. Well, it was another morning of issues on the city's newest transit line. Service suspended twice on the Finch West LRT due to signal issues.
The disruptions come as a mayoral candidate is bringing forward a plan to offer customers a refund if they face delays. CTV's Natalie Johnson joins us now with more on this morning's disruptions. Natalie.
That's right, Nathan. This is a proposal by Councilor Brad Bradford for a TTC money-back guarantee, something that Bradford says would drive performance and accountability at the TTC. In the bitter cold, it was another day of delays on the TTC.
Every minute counts.
Got no choice. Got to do what you got to do.
That was the feeling of resignation among riders of the brand new Finch West LRT. Just 4 days after the shiny new trains rolled into service, switch issues shut down Line 6 for part of the morning, forcing commuters onto shuttle buses instead.
I mean, par for the course.
I don't feel like wasting my time.
Transit performance in this city is not good enough, and it hasn't been good enough for a long time.
Councilor Brad Bradford, who is running for mayor, this morning revealing the details of the transit proposal he is pitching to council.
It's important that the transit you're paying for shows up on time.
A TTC service guarantee in which users would get their money back if their ride is more than 15 minutes late.
When transit agencies are accountable for on-time performance, customer service gets better, reliability improves, confidence goes up. More people choose transit.
That'll definitely help a lot of people, especially if they're having to go to work.
Probably get like more customers, you know?
It's going to be a good help for me if I'm going to get cash back just in case.
Asked whether she would support the proposal for a TTC money-back guarantee, Mayor Olivia Chow's office said in a statement, quote, Mayor Chow has made record investments in the TTC and has a real plan for making transit more affordable, reliable and safe. The mayor has frozen fares for 3 years running and is working towards making the TTC free after 40 rides per month, while providing record investment in repairing our aging transit system and increasing service.
It's not good enough. We have to do better.
Bradford's pitch to get the TTC back on track goes to council for a vote next week. As for the delays this morning on the Finch West LRT, the TTC says that although crews were out inspecting the line overnight, they will be reviewing the issues that happened this morning to better mitigate weather-related impacts moving forward. Reporting live, I'm Natalie Johnson. Nathan, over to you.
Thank you, Natalie. It is deadline day for the Canada Revenue Agency to figure out how to fix its call center delays. Just ahead, we'll find out the plan to ensure Canadians can stay connected to the CRA during the upcoming tax season.
But first, police say a dog was fatally electrocuted after stepping on a sewer grate near Hamilton's West Harbour GO station last month. Hamilton police confirming to CTV News this incident happened on November 30th. Investigators say an exposed electrical wire, which had come loose, made contact with a metal grate, causing it to become energized. The wire supplied power to streetlights on GO station property. Police say there's no evidence of tampering or criminal activity here. Metrolink says it is deeply saddened by the incident and is investigating how it happened.
A Thornhill lawyer facing extradition to the U.S. after being charged in the investigation into an international drug smuggling ring testified at his bail hearing yesterday. Deepak Paradkar is offering to turn over his passport to the RCMP, submit to GPS monitoring, and put up $5 million. He's one of several Canadians arrested by the FBI as part of a probe targeting a narcotics operation allegedly run by former Olympian Ryan Wedding. Paradkar is accused of advising Wedding to kill a federal witness. The allegations have not yet been proven in court. Well, police are looking for some Grinches after a Christmas display was destroyed at a Scarborough home.
Several inflatable Christmas decorations were vandalized in the early morning hours Sunday morning. The suspects believed to be armed with hammers and knives. CTV's Mike Walker reports.
A doorbell camera captures masked vandals destroying an inflatable Christmas display in front of a Scarborough family's home.
People drive by, they stop their car, and they get out, take pictures, and I just assumed it was one of those. And suddenly, my son, shouts that, no, they're popping the inflatables.
One of the suspects appears to be armed with a hammer. It happened early Sunday morning, and within a minute, the massive inflatable display that has been a tradition for Scot Patriquin and his family for nearly a decade was destroyed.
But there is what I do to root off.
Just hours after he put the finishing touches on this year's display.
And when we came outside, we saw that they had catastrophically destroyed every single one of the inflatables. Devastated, angry, really just at a complete loss of understanding as to why anyone would do this.
Patriquin describes it as a labor of love for his family and community. An inflatable display that included a 20-foot Santa, Rudolph and Frosty, and has grown every year.
Probably takes about 25, 30 hours to get this thing set up. Let's make it awesome, and let's give all the kids in the neighborhood something to come to.
At this point, police haven't released any details about the suspects, but say if caught, they would face mischief charges.
They took away something that represented a neighborhood tradition.
His neighbors and strangers are now rallying behind him.
We were all very sad and devastated to hear the news. My kids were just there the night before.
And while this has left his family shaken, Patriquin says he won't be deterred.
We're going to see if we can get it up and get it together. Most of these are beyond repair.
A local retailer has offered to replace the vandalized inflatables.
We can't let people who are trying to destroy joy, we can't let them win.
Mike Walker, CTV News.
Toronto police are set to provide an update this afternoon on an investigation into 3 cold cases. Deputy Chief Rob Johnson will be joined by the cold case unit and the OPP to announce what police say are significant developments. The update is scheduled for 1 this afternoon, and we will have full details on CTV News Toronto at 5 and 6.
And the Toronto Police Services Board has approved its operating budget for next year, which includes a 7% increase. The $1.43 billion budget would increase by nearly $94 million. It includes money for hiring 143 additional officers as part of a multi-year hiring plan. 40 civilian positions would also be added, and the Neighborhood Community Officer program expanded. The police budget will go to the city's budget committee next and will be voted on by councilors early next year.
At Queen's Park, the legislature is expected to rise today for the winter break, but discussions surrounding a controversial government fund are far from over.
The sitting comes to an end amid questions over King Charles Medal recipients and an overlap with companies who got money from the Skills Development Fund. CTV's John Woodward has the details.
Thank you very much.
This May, Ontario's Premier thanked veterans as he offered them the King Charles III Coronation Medal, a recognition of service to Canada, timed to the inauguration of Canada's head of state. Around 30,000 medals were given out across Canada, with nominations coming from many public service organizations.
Congratulations.
About 1,400 nominations were made by Ontario MPPs, and among those names, we found a dozen people tied to companies that also got the nod for provincial government grants through the $2.5 billion Skills Development Fund.
What kind of shop are you running, Premier?
That fund has been slammed for months in question period as a slush fund for PC supporters, though the government stands by it.
I treat my patients like their family.
One of dentist John Magirius' companies got a $2 million grant. He got a King Charles Medal too. His dental practice claimed it treated the Ford family. Magirius' staff didn't answer questions about who his nomination came from. Doug Ford says it wasn't him.
Premier, did you nominate the dentist John Magirius for a King Charles Medal?
No, so let me just clear up this King Charles Medal. Even the opposition falls under my name as Premier. We handed out, I guess, thousands of them across the province, and the people that got them, and that's it.
We can't tell which MPP nominated which award recipient, so we decided to take a look at the recipients as a group and see if we could spot any patterns. Of the 1,400, about 500 were political donors. They gave to the Green Party about $60,000, to the Ontario Liberals about $295,000, to the NDP about $500,000, and to the PCs about $2.5 million. About 5 times the donations from the NDP, with about twice the seats in the legislature.
It's more likely, probably, there's a pattern here of a preferential treatment.
Not a surprise to this critic.
Whenever politicians are handing out anything, it's based on politics.
The dentist, John Magirius, donated about $20,000 to the PCs. Other recipients reached by CTV say they don't think their donations played a part, and they got the medal on merit. John Woodward, CTV News.
We have more news in a moment, but first a look at the forecast. Here's a live look at the city this afternoon. A few clouds, but some sunshine as well. However, it is chilly out there, so bundle up if you've got things to do. Jessica Smith has a look at the current conditions. Hey, Jess.
Hey, Nathan. And it is freezing outside. Compared to yesterday, we've seen the temperatures drop quite a bit, and there's that bit of flash freezing that took place. If you're walking on any untreated sidewalks, you notice it. We're still dealing with some lake effect snow, but the bulk of that system is gone. Behind it, high pressure and some very, very cold air, and still those gusty northwesterly winds. Still seeing some communities under those snow squall watches and warnings, but we'll see those start to taper off likely as we head through the rest of our day today and into at least the start of our weekend. Temperature-wise, it is chilly. We're looking looking at those double-digit wind chill temperatures not going anywhere as we head throughout the day. Frostbite is a possibility this time of year, so just take care if you're spending any extra time outdoors. Now, as we make our way throughout the rest of our afternoon, we're not staying as cold, but we're going to be right around 2 degrees below that seasonal point. Through the islands around -4 right now, feeling like -12. Through Pearson, it is chilly. The good news is it does get a little warmer into the day tomorrow, but that warm-up is short-lived. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast, including another round of snow on the way throughout the weekend. But for now, I'll send things back over to Michelle.
Thank you, Jazz. Well, out west, a local state of emergency has been declared in BC's Fraser Valley as a series of atmospheric rivers soak the province.
We really get anxious, nervous when we start to see the water levels rise. It's definitely concerning.
Torrential rain has resulted in flooding and rock slides that have cut off the lower mainland from the interior. A flood warning is in effect for the entire Fraser Valley. Some roads are closed and 1,000 properties in the city of Abbotsford are under evacuation order or alert.
And a rock slide has shut down part of a highway near Hope, BC. It's closed in both directions between the community and the town of Kent. Another highway between Hope and the community of Merritt is also closed because of flooding.
The most common cause of death during a flooding event is people who try to drive through water on roads, and we have had to do a number of car rescues.
Wide emergency has been declared in Washington state because of flooding. Rivers are expected to hit historic levels, and up to 100,000 people could soon face evacuation orders. Motorists are being urged to stay off the roads.
The Trump administration has suggested recently it may consider walking away from the current North American Free Trade Agreement, but a top Canadian trade negotiator doesn't think that will happen. The minister responsible for Canada-U.S. relations says his position is based on conversations with American officials. Dominic LeBlanc believes the U.S. doesn't intend to scrap the deal, but will review the agreement. He thinks Mexico has a similar read of this situation. CUSMA is up for renewal next year.
The U.S. has seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela as tensions mount with the government of President Nicolas Maduro. American forces took control of the merchant vessel yesterday. The seizure was led by the U.S. Coast Guard and supported by the Navy. It was the latest move by the Trump administration to increase pressure on Maduro. The Venezuelan government accused the U.S. of blatant theft and described the seizure as an act of international piracy. The action sent oil prices higher and sharply escalated tensions between the two countries.
After federal finance minister François-Philippe Champagne set a 100-day timeline for the CRA to fix call center delays back in September, we're finding out the plan to manage the upcoming tax season. CTV's Scot Hurst joins us live now. Scott, we've reached the final day of the finance minister's timeline there. So what happens now?
Michelle, many of the upgrades during this 100-day review have been focused on Canadians not having to make a call to CRA and, in fact, get all the help that they need and the services that they need through the online portal. And the CRA claims it is making meaningful progress. Of course, you don't launch a 100-day review unless you're obviously trying to fix something, as Canadians were growing increasingly fed up with the services provided by the federal agency, notably concerns about significant delays in wait times. And in October, the Auditor General also released a report showing, in part, call centers were sorely lacking in providing accurate information. So the government was in need in rebuilding trust in the agency and ultimately strengthening the services that we as Canadians need. So the government launched this 100-day review, and some of the key findings include the number of calls answered more than doubled, according to the government, from 35% to 70%. This came through the extension of some contracts and the rehiring of more than 1,200 employees to help reduce wait times. And also, according to the government, 60,000 Canadians used a new scheduled callback program for issues related to account access or online business registration, Michelle.
Scott, well, when you're dealing with any kind of tax stuff, I think it's fair to say for most people it's inherently just not fun. And it is nice to get an actual human on the phone to help you sort through it. Now, the CRA says it's using emerging technologies to help deal with these issues. How are they incorporating AI in their response service?
The CRA says it's really leaning into increasing the ability of AI and automation going forward. The government says it is making progress, ultimately making the CRA experience more user-friendly. For example, if you lose or forget your CRA sign-in details, you can now get back in online rather than getting stuck on the phone. And you mentioned it is nice often to talk to a representative. However, a big complaint was that it was taking so long just to be able to speak to someone. So this change, it claims, will help divert some 300,000 calls a year. Also, the agency claims its ongoing generative AI chatbot is getting better at answering more complex questions. So, of course, more Canadians don't have to make the phone call. And customers, it says, have used the chatbot more than 240% more than at this time last year. Of course, tackling problems with the CRA, Michelle, during this 100-day review throughout the fall is one thing, but tax season is an entirely different beast, as you might expect, where call volumes surge. Last year, the CRA says throughout the year it received more than 32 million calls, peaking at nearly 300,000 a day during filing season. So that is when, of course, Canadians will be able to really judge for themselves if all these improvements are actually making the process simpler and cutting down on some of the concerns they have, notably wait times.
We'll have to see. Tax season fast approaching. CTV's Scot Hurst did live in the National Newsroom. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
In Ottawa, the House of Commons is set to rise for a 6-week holiday break tomorrow, but MPs could take off a day early. Members of Parliament could agree to break later today. Now, that would happen without the Liberals passing their lengthy budget implementation bill. This has been the first full sitting since Prime Minister Mark Carney took office. MPs have passed legislation to make it easier to get major projects built and remove interprovincial trade barriers. They're set to return on January 26th. Treaty 8 First Nations of Alberta leaders are on Parliament Hill today to bring forward their formal objection to the recently announced Canada-Alberta Memorandum of Understanding and related pipeline plans. CTV Jeremy Sharon joins us live with the details. Jeremy, what do we know about this so far?
Yeah, Nathan, look, this is opposition that First Nations leaders in Alberta, Treaty 8 First Nations in Alberta, are expressing to the Memorandum of Understanding. This is a bit of a surprise, if you will, or a new development in opposition to the proposed pipeline project and the MOU between Ottawa and Alberta, because it's coming from opposition within Alberta, not in BC. There's been a lot of talk since this agreement was signed between Alberta and Ottawa about opposition in British Columbia. Of course, the BC government is opposed to this. Coastal First Nations have been clear they are vehemently opposed to a pipeline that would go through northern BC to tidewater and provide a way to get oil to Asian markets. But this is First Nations leaders from Alberta opposing the project as well. And so it could prove to be another hurdle that the Alberta government and the federal government could face in potentially trying to move forward with this pipeline project. Now, what we heard from First Nations leaders this morning on Parliament Hill is not necessarily that they oppose the project itself, the fundamentals of the project and the contents of the project, but rather that they are completely opposed to the way in which the federal government and the Alberta government have moved forward in coming to this agreement without the consultation of First Nations groups. They believe that they should have had a seat at the table right from the get-go. They should have been included in conversations in the lead-up to this agreement that was signed between Ottawa and Alberta, and that was not the case. They say that they have not been consulted. They have not been part of any discussions so far, despite the fact that these are projects that would potentially be built on their lands. And so that is the major opposition that we're hearing from First Nations leaders in Alberta, is that they should have been included in conversations already and not just part of a consultation period down the line to weigh in and have their say after a project has already been planned. They feel as though they should have been included from the outset, and that's what they're calling for. They want to see the federal government take action and the Alberta government take action to immediately involve First Nations groups as they try and start to move forward and not do so just later on in the process.
All right, understood. CTV Jeremy Sharon in Ottawa. Thank you.
Yeah, anytime.
The Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation has released a new rental market report, and it shows the national vacancy rate is at the highest level in 30 years.
The vacancy rate was driven by all levels of rent, meaning that not only the more expensive ones drove the vacancy rate up, but also the least expensive ones as well. So affordability slightly improving, but definitely continues to be a challenge.
In Canada's largest cities, the average vacancy rate for purpose-built rental apartments rose to 3.1%, up from 2.2% in 2024. This rate is now above its 10-year average. Toronto's rental market continued to ease in 2025. The proportion of vacant purpose-built rental apartments in the GTA increased to 3%. It was driven by declining international migration, continued competition from condominium apartment rentals, and a softening economic backdrop. The average two-bedroom rent was just over $2,000. The vacancy rate in the condominium apartment market was 1%, and the average two-bedroom rent was about $2,900. Well, the cleanup continues in Jamaica, weeks after Hurricane Melissa ripped through the island.
Last night, an event was held in the city to support the recovery effort. CTV's Andrea Case has the story.
The national anthem of a hot country on a cold Toronto night. Jamaicans and Canadians, friends and supporters of the island nation gathered at the Meridian Performing Arts Centre for the Harmonies of Hope concert in support of Hurricane Melissa relief, which battered Jamaica 6 weeks ago. The idea came to patrons Wes Hall and Donette Chin Loy Chang just 10 days ago, and Jamaica's Minister of Tourism, Edmund Bartlett, couldn't be happier with the support from Canada.
And so I want to congratulate the teams that have worked so assiduously to put this event together tonight. And I'm advised that their effort in raising resources for us is being met with very, very positive and strong responses all around.
Bartlett told those in attendance Hurricane Melissa was a national crisis and a human one. While the event was upbeat, the message contained a serious tone. Large numbers remain homeless and jobless, with as much as $8 billion worth of damage, equal to 20% of the country's GDP. But as the country slowly recovers, he has this message.
The best way to support us is to visit us.
Canada is Jamaica's second largest tourism market and the essence of its economy.
We are a people that's proud, and we delight in serving and giving. And so we want to give too. So we invite you to come so we can give a little more of ourselves.
The evening raised $2.3 million and counting. Andrea Case, CTV News.
A much chillier but sunnier day as we get through our Thursday here in the city of Toronto and across a good portion of the GTA, but we're still dealing with the chance of some light flurry activity thanks to some snow squalls still impacting us here in southern Ontario. We are still a little bit around the seasonal mark, but today you feel the chill in the air thanks to that breezy northwesterly wind. So this afternoon, that -4 feeling like -10 with a breezy northwesterly wind. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast, including another round of snow on the way just in time for the weekend. Those details after the break.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Well, definitely a change from yesterday this time. We don't have the snow falling. It's really nice to see the beautiful sunshine out there, but it's crunchy. A lot of that wetness has frozen, and it's a little icy.
Yeah, you did mention it's tough just walking around. You got to be extra careful. Take small, short, slow steps.
The little penguin steps,
exactly.
my dad calls them, little tiny little steps, because I almost took a tumble a couple times yesterday. But it is that time of year we see that kind of freeze and thaw taking place as we transition to more of a traditional winter forecast. And it was so cold last night, and it continues today, so that's going to to help that kind of freezing effect take place. So any untreated surfaces will be a bit of a challenge. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm. Injury lawyers, you don't pay unless they win. Now, nice and cool this morning. We saw the sun start to make its appearance early on, which is lovely to see. But it also means oftentimes this time of year that we have a pretty chilly day ahead of us. So layer up accordingly if you plan on spending any time outside or if you work outdoors. Now, temperature-wise, as we head throughout the day, we're not that far off the seasonal point, but it is going to be very windy out there. So that wind chill, very much an issue as we head throughout our day today. We'll sit at -6 right now. It feels like -14. We're feeling like -20 for our friends in Ottawa, -9 through Windsor, and -21 in North Bay. So 'tis the season to be freezing. It is cold outside. But the good news is it does get a little warmer temporarily as we head into the start of your weekend. -4 for the daytime high, so we're not far off that seasonal point. Everybody, though, feeling that chill. And yes, there is sunshine, but we're still contending with some lake effect snow on and off throughout the day today, more so for our friends who live along those eastern shorelines of Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. Tonight, -10, feeling like -13. Peterborough feeling like -20. It is another very, very cold evening, so take care again spending any extra time outside. We're still dealing again with those bands of lake effect snow thanks to that northwesterly wind, so still prompting some snow squall watches and warnings. Higher impact areas just kind of south of Barrie. Keep that in mind. I know it's a busy travel time. Maybe you're taking an extra day off to go visit family this weekend. Be careful if you're traveling anywhere up towards cottage country. As we make our way throughout the day today, high pressure rolls in, lots of sunshine, but also lots of cold air. Again, the lake effect snow machine still firing off as we head throughout our Thursday. Into your Friday, we get a bit of a break. It is a little sunnier, but as we head into the afternoon, the cloud cover rolls in, and this is ahead of another line of snow making its way in just in time for your Saturday morning on and off throughout your weekend, and that includes your Sunday as well. Temperature-wise, again, a little below seasonal for the high and the low today, but you factor in the wind chill and it feels significantly colder. A brief moment of reprieve as we head in towards your Friday, but that kind of goes very quickly as we head through your Saturday and Sunday with those wind chill values in those double-digit territories. Into your Sunday evening, we're getting down to -13, feeling into that kind of -20 range. So please, please be careful spending any extra time outside. It's a busy time of year, holiday season, visiting people, holiday activities. Just keep in mind frostbite can happen very quickly this time of year, so be mindful of that exposed skin when you are outside, and also be mindful of your pets. As we head in towards your Monday, we are watching for another round of heavier snow that kind of trickles in from your Saturday through your Sunday into Monday, so that will impact your commute on Monday morning. So think ahead and give yourself that little bit of extra time. The good news is it tapers off just in time for Tuesday and Wednesday, and as we tiptoe into the holiday season, we're likely to see a white Christmas because we've got all this snow and this cold weather, but just be mindful of the slick surfaces. It can be tricky, whether you're walking or driving. Hopefully this helps you plan. For now, Nathan, Michelle, I'll send things back over to you.
All right. Thank you, Jess.
Thanks.
Many people are looking to save money these days, but that doesn't mean your gift giving has to suffer.
More people are now considering secondhand gifts, whether it's thrifting something or buying a nostalgic item from days gone by. CTV's Pat Foran has the details.
Vintage Vendors in Oshawa describes itself as retro, antique, and unique, but it's also part of the thrifting culture taking hold with many consumers. Susan Johnson says there are more than 100 vendors here with items that could make for a great present.
The stigma of buying used items and giving them as gifts has gone away.
Retro Christmas goods are highly sought after at this time of year. Another popular segment is vintage clothing. Many younger buyers see it as a way to purchase higher quality goods that are often hard to find.
I don't think this will last very long in the store because the fact that it's the bay, it's this gorgeous red color looks like amazing condition.
Consumer Reports says thrifting has gone mainstream and people are more willing to accept a secondhand item.
I think people's feelings towards that have changed a lot in the last couple of years. Thrifting can help you find something really special and meaningful for the people on your list.
Researchers also say consider refurbished electronics, as you can often get something used that's dependable for a fraction of the price. Your best bets are smartphones that are no more than 3 generations old, laptops, desktops, monitors, gaming consoles, TVs less than 3 years old, cameras, routers, and audio devices. Consider refurbished products sold at big box stores, which often come with a return policy or warranty. No matter what kind of secondhand item you buy, it's also good for the planet.
All the items we have here, if we weren't reselling them and reusing them and recycling them, they would be ending up in the landfills.
When it comes to toys, many people are nostalgic for the past. They love collecting Hot Wheels, Superman, Batman, and anything Star Wars.
toys from the 90s are really hot right now for the kids that are in their 30s right now. They're buying stuff that they played with.
By thrifting items or checking out vintage shops, you could discover some unique goods you won't find anywhere new, and you may save some money at the same time. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Time has unveiled its 2025 Person of the Year, and the magazine has named Architects of AI as this year's recipients. Officials at Time say this year was when artificial intelligence became a dominant part of everyday life, affecting everything from the economy to schooling. The edition of the magazine will have two covers. One has the letters under construction. The second features tech titans, including Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. And as artificial intelligence is becoming more prevalent in our daily lives, local governments across the country are gearing up for a major tech shift.
Experts say in the next 6 months, we could see a rise in cities turning to the technology. CTV's Allison Bamford explains.
Saskatoon Transit is working to get these buses back on the road. Small repairs now to avoid major failures later.
Instead of running a bus until which point in time a check engine light or a stop engine light would appear, we're now able to get ahead of that.
Helping them get ahead is AI.
Here's a fault code.
They successfully piloted the software in 2023. Today it analyzes real-time data from bus sensors and catches maintenance issues early.
Left unchecked, that bus would have been dead on the road.
The information is tracked constantly, cutting costs on parts and saving hours of unscheduled maintenance.
This becomes one more tool in the toolbox in helping us.
23% of Canadian municipalities use AI. Another 31% are actively evaluating how to incorporate it.
We're seeing a lot of municipalities kind of in that learning or experimenting phase. They're still trying to understand in what capacity they can use AI.
ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot are common starting points for municipalities, but many have advanced using it for predictive maintenance, chatbots, and understanding traffic flow.
There is a bit of a fear that if they do venture into the AI world, that they are going to do something that will end up upsetting the citizens or putting them at risk.
Privacy, data protection, and cost are concerns holding back some municipalities. But this expert says don't be afraid.
Just do it in a planned way that allows for management of the risks.
And taking those risks could pay off down the road. Allison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Coming up, connecting patients to the health care they need. A clinic in East Toronto works to ease the burden with a new initiative to address the province's primary care challenges.
The latest stats show Canada is making some headway in getting people connected to primary care across the country.
And as our health reporter Pauline Chan tells us, a new program just started to help those in East Toronto find a family doctor.
How are you? I am feeling more optimistic than ever as it pertains to primary care and family medicine.
Dr. Catherine Yu leads an 11-physician team at the new East Toronto Primary Care Navigation Clinic, part of Michael Garron Hospital.
What we try and do is think about the health care stabilization that needs to be done because many of our patients have not been seen by a family doctor for many, many years.
With Michael Garron's emergency department often running at 119% capacity, the hope is to ease that burden and find long-term care for East End residents.
We recognize that our patients need, in addition to seeing a family doctor, having that full care team that can truly address what they need. So it could include a referral to our social worker. It could include a referral to a peer support worker.
Figures from earlier this week show 5.9 million Canadians need a family doctor, a slight improvement from 3 years ago.
If preventative care, such as vaccinations, such as cancer screenings, such as chronic disease screening for diabetes and cholesterol, are not available to patients, then of course, over the course of time, they're at higher risk of getting acutely ill.
The federal government is also taking the initiative to increase primary care providers, fast-tracking foreign-trained doctors who have at least 1 year of recent Canadian experience. The program will begin in early 2026.
We certainly serve 22 neighborhoods in East Toronto, and 5 neighborhoods are known in our data to be priority neighborhoods.
The clinic has only been open for 6 weeks, but when it's running at full capacity, they hope to see about 1,500 people for in-person visits each year. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Well, it's the last call for Canadians to get a piece of the $500 million settlement in a bread price-fixing class action lawsuit. Loblaw and its parent company, George Weston Limited, are accused of engaging in an industry-wide scheme to fix the price of bread. Canadians have until tomorrow to submit an online claim if they bought packaged bread between January of 2001 and December of 2021. Those who file a claim could receive $25 within 6 to 12 months after the deadline. No proof of purchase is needed. In Australia, a groundbreaking social media ban for children under 16 is now in effect.
The new legislation is leaving Canadians wondering if we might soon follow suit. CTV's Heather Wright has the story.
The legislation is the first of its kind in the world. Children in Australia under the age of 16 can no longer legally have accounts on social media sites like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat. It's a law Amanda Ebinger wants to see passed here in Canada.
She was getting phone calls. She was getting harassed.
When Ebinger's daughter was 11, someone began posting rumors about her online. The attacks became so vicious, she started to self-harm and even considered taking her own life.
We took her to the hospital and she stayed there for the weekend. And then after that, I realized, okay, we can't be here anymore.
The family moved out of town to escape the harassment. Australia's law aims to prevent that type of online bullying and also shield young people from apps that have been shown to cause increased rates of depression, anxiety, and loneliness. The ban puts the onus on the tech companies to enforce age restrictions and remove accounts of those under the age of 16, or face fines of up to 49.5 million Australian dollars. Critics say the law is an infringement and will be tough to enforce. There are also concerns about kids losing a communication tool or being pushed into the darker parts of the internet. Proponents, though, say it's an important first step.
Generally, whenever you have one of these large policy changes, it's going to help some people and harm some people. And so I think Australia is making the bet that overall, on the longer term, that this will be more helpful than harmful.
Australian officials acknowledge the implementation of this new law will not be perfect, and kids will likely exploit any loopholes. But countries and some provinces here in Canada that are exploring their own social media bans, watching closely now at how things unfold in Australia.
Heather Wright. Still to come, the controversy over the ice at the upcoming Olympic Games in Italy and why the NHL has concerns over its players attending.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
The Maple Leafs return to the ice tonight, continuing their homestand against the San Jose Sharks.
Open ice on the left wing for Tavares. Dropping for Cowan. In front for Riley. Scores!
The Buds are coming off a 2-0 shutout win against the Tampa Bay Lightning on Monday. They've been on a bit of a hot streak of late, picking up at least a point in 6 of the last 7 games. Puck drop tonight is set for just after 7.
And staying on the ice, the Canada and U.S. women's national teams faced off in Game 3 of the rivalry series last night.
She is tagged and paired with Jocelyn Larocque. Looking for a play, they score!
Canada got off to a fast start with a goal in the opening minute, but the U.S. dominated the rest of the way, scoring 5 unanswered goals and 4 straight in the third period. The U.S. crushes Canada 10-4, the most goals the Canadians have ever given up to the Americans. The U.S. has outscored Canada 20-6 so far in the series, winning all 3 games. The final game is Saturday and will be the last meeting between the teams before February's Olympic Games.
And as NHL players get ready to return to the Olympics for the first time since 2014, debate continues over what the hockey rink and ice conditions will be like in Milan. Sports website The Athletic says the rink is more than 3 feet shorter than the 200-foot length required by the NHL. Some also say they're worried about the quality of the ice. The NHL has ice and facility experts in Milan and says if the ice isn't safe, its players won't be going.
Coming up, a beloved mascot pays a visit to the Toronto Zoo to meet a pair of Highland cows, and it is quite fitting that they connect. We'll explain. The Toronto Zoo's new hairy residents are settling in nicely to their home, which is now covered in snow. There they are. Let's have a look. Blue and Jay, named after, oh, you guessed it, the Toronto Blue Jays. This pair of Highland cows are now part of the zoo's Wild Encounters program that allows visitors to get up close to the animals. Highland cattle are a long-haired breed of domesticated cattle known for their distinctive appearance, those gorgeous locks, including that double coat, which protects them from the cold. And look who this is. Yep, the Blue Jays sent their own animal ambassador to today's introduction, just skipping along. That's Ace, and I'm sure he just loves their names.
It's like the zoo's mascot. You see the size of those cows? I mean, they got big pretty quick.
It's amazing they're growing up so fast before our eyes.
How about them cows?
I know. Do you think they like Do you think they like these cold conditions?
I'm sure they're loving it, but like they got hair all over. I'm like, I'm freezing when I go outside. I only got that up here, right?
Yeah.
But it is going to be one of those days where if you don't have the same outfit as Blue and Jay, you're going to want to layer up because it is going to be very cold as we head throughout your Thursday and into the weekend as well. But at least a break from the bulk of the heavier flurry activity. Still some lake effect snow impacting us throughout our day today, but mostly along those eastern shorelines of Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. As we head into our afternoon, it does warm up a little. Right now we're sitting at -6, feeling like -14, but those double-digit wind chills everywhere but Windsor. You're feeling it as you head throughout your day. It gets a little warmer as we head into our Friday. The cloud cover moves in, though, so just be prepared for the weekend where it cools right back down.
All right, thank you, Jess. And that is it for CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Jessica Smith and the whole team here, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé.
And I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6. Have a great day.